But then I know it's mango season, but eating healthy somehow I've not been hungry.
Healthy,
no, it's not healthy, but that's all I eat.
Okay, so that's fine.
So I do my intermittent fasting for like 19 to 21 hours.
Wow.
Yes, and then I eat my mango, my chilled mango. Like God, please.
You're happy.
But the amount I'm buying this mango. As in, after eating the mango, I'll not say, this one mango,
don't finish
800, almost 1,000 naira.
Wow.
Why? That mango from the east.
Okay.
I don't understand. I need
ones.
that. Usually, like, that
to
sense to me, but I don't know why. Whether he's quarreling with me, has not sent me.
He will say,
anybody that sees that pure mango, that's Eastern mango.
I was about to abuse you for that because I went to go and try it. She was talking about this frozen agbalumo. I went to go.
Did you try it?
Yes, now.
You didn't like it?
It's not the same
What
thing.
breed are you?
I was okay. I was like, you freeze it. You don't bring it out. I tried. I ate it frozen. I thought
you
it
eat chocolate.
I ate chocolate.
And you don't like frozen agbalumo that is sugar.
It's not sugar. The sugar
You need
is
to carry this one.
How was your weekend?
I was not feeling like what was Nima just ranting about this thing. I ate it frozen and I ate it even slightly thawed. Still the same thing. It was just the same. It was okay.
Same.
It's not like
Extraordinary
extraordinary
and everything. She just likes it frozen, but my mom even sends her frozen coconut. She has been hiding in the freezer.
And I'm not sharing.
That was a weekend.
I'm fine. Weekend I was mostly at home. I think it was yesterday I took my kids to they had the party, and then Saturday I think I was home. I cooked. I sat home and I was really happy to cook and just had a few parties. But honestly, this season I don't know why parties just not entering me. I was looking forward to go to the party on Sunday, but unfortunately I forgot my kids had a better party, so I had to now allow them. But it was nice. It was a good rest weekend for me. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Police protesters head for showdown in Lagos and Abuja. Ex-Governor Olunloyo dies 9 days to 90th birthday. Bobrisky smuggled 35 million naira into Kirikiri prison. 2 Chinese killed in Abia. Anti-Trump vote protests rock U.S. cities. Israel denies 2 UK prime ministers entry. Explosion at Lagos dump site. Police army probe source of explosive. LP accuses NLC of plotting to invade Secretariat. Telecom service quality worsens, and 1,820 residents displaced by Plateau attacks. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, can I start with the explosion? So last week we had an explosion that happened at a dump site in Mushin, Lagos, and the Lagos Police Command and the Nigerian Army have started the investigation to unravel how this military-grade grenades got into the hands of scavengers. So the scavengers were trying to saw it open for whatever reason. You know the way you used to recycle iron condemn. That's what they're called locally. And the scavenger, the grenade, one of the explosive exploded in his hands and killed the scavenger in question, injured 3 others who were around him, and then, of course, created a fire at the scene. This happened somewhere in Mushin. Of course, immediately there was response from our security and safety team to curtail it. Although the explosives ordnance disposal and explosive ordnance disposal and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear unit of the police were able to recover the remnant grenades. They're now looking into how it got there, because of course that was the question on everybody's lips. The Lagos police spokesperson, CSP Benjamin Deyi, has reassured Lagosians to go about their peaceful businesses, saying that they should calm down, everything is in order. The Nigerian army immediately has started investigating how this was distributed, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so I have the major headline in The Nation. So there's a showdown that is likely today between the police and the group of protesters in Lagos and Abuja and some other capital cities such as Ibadan and Port Harcourt. A massive deployment of security men is expected across the country. The police warned that it would not take kindly to a protest it described as potential unrest or confrontation planned by the Take It Back movement. It described the action as that of subversive elements acting on pretense of economic hardship. The Take It Back movement group said that the protest against cyberbullying and also the emergency declaration in Rivers State is the reason why they are going on protest. It added that it opposes the illegal extension of the tenure of Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun, and the group said its members would converge under the bridge in Lagos, and also I think there's a complex in Abuja and Ibadan, Iwo Road in Ibadan. While the police cautioned against the protest, which is described as sabotage, having fallen on National Police Day. One of the organizers, Mr. Showore, a politician, insisted that last night, he said last night that the protest will go on today, and we'll see how police plans to handle that across the nation. Okay,
so I have the story of the passing of the second elected ex-governor of Oyo State, and he passed 8 days to the celebration of his 90th birthday. They said all the plans were already on ground to do his 90th birthday, but he passed after a brief illness. But this man has an amazing record. Like, he had a PhD in applied mathematics from St. Andrews University in Scotland at the age of 25. He came back to University of Ife, and he was head of mathematics department of Ife in the 60s at 28. Then he became an administrator of, was commissioner of administrator, by administrator Koye Majekudumi at 27. So he was someone that, first rector of several universities, several polytechnic of Ibadan. He's an academician, but besides from that, he also contributed greatly to the development of our country. So, of course, the president led with his commiseration to the family. Then the state governor of Oyo State also sent his own commiseration. The former president Obasanjo, every who is who was sending their condolence messages to the family. And of course, Oyo has lost a great man. And I would expect that details of his achievements be documented well and taught in school, so that we have people like this that people can get to hear about and emulate. Yeah.
So you live a life of impact. Okay, so I have the cross-dresser Idris Kune alias Bobrisky allegedly smuggled 8 automated teller machines cards into the Kirikiri custodial facility, which was used to source 35 million naira. Wow. Hey God! From point of sale vendors within the Kirikiri community to bribe his way, which was how he was able to stay in the apartment that was outside the prison. Okay. Shabi is nicknamed Bale, no nonsense. The man said that he likes truth. So he made sure, he disclosed in the town hall meeting, so he made sure that he followed this matter to the end. So he had invited the POS people to his palace, to his residence, and then EFCC people, they now carried all of them, including himself. And when they started the investigation, they now found out that this was what happened. And then the people, the guards, the prison officials are suspended and remain suspended. But this is also in contradiction to what the report of the probe panel considered by the National Assembly, which claimed that Bobrisky served his full jail term within the custodial facility, and but that he received preferential treatment. So they are saying that this is totally different from what we were told. But Bale, no nonsense, has said that he's working with the DSS and EFCC is with them to make sure that everything concerning this.
So Bale is leading his own investigation parallel to the National Assembly.
Yes, but now they found out that his own is the genuine thing.
Moving on, Daily Sun, let's take one story. Outrage spreads over Plateau killings. Labour Party, OT warns Abure sues for peace. APC alert IGP, DSS and NSA to looming crisis in Osun. Constitutional review, reps consider creation of 302 new parliamentary seats. 18 billion naira investments wiped out as Nigerian Forex Access Capital, all two others a regulatory sweep. Trump's 14% tariff threatens Nigeria's $6 billion export revenue. And gunmen killed 2 Chinese policemen in Aba. Let's take one story for the break.
Okay, so outage spreads as over Plateau killings. In this recent one, there was bloodletting. We were in Plateau where 50 persons were gruesomely murdered, and this is according to the Arawa Consultative Forum. The attack, they said, happened March 28th, and it resulted in death of scores of people. It was a coordinated attack in the Bokos local government area of Plateau State, and because of that, Arawa's National Publicity Secretary, Professor Tuku Mohammed Baba, has called on the federal government to declare a state of security emergency on vulnerable bandit-prone communities to initiate effective early warning and early response strategies that incorporate the participation of community members in that area. Also, the group, the social-cultural group, social-cultural organization of Irigwe people of Bassa local government area of Plateau State, the Irigwe Development Association, has called on the government for justice. They said in 25 years they've had coordinated attacks where 2,866 attacks have happened. They've lost over 1,107 people, 412 injuries, and others. Giving an inventory of what has happened and what has been going on in that area. They said from 2001 to March 2001 as well, they've had this number of deaths, and farms lost about 27,330, 274 barns lost, people displaced, different accounts of that. Right. I hope that, the important agencies of government are following the news. That's and right. They too, they have data. Data is important. Right. Data is what will put authenticity to most of these things that we downplay. Right. Losing people being displaced from their ancestral places is not a good thing.
Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Really sad indeed.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
For playing it smart. Nivea is for skin.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, G Fadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Daily Sun. What's the story?
Gunmen last Friday shot dead 2 Chinese men and a policeman at the Uturu Isukwato local government of Abia State. They were coming from their facility with their police escorts when they were accosted, and then they shot 2 of the Chinese men and a police officer. When that happened, the police, quickly, collaborated with the military and some sister security agencies, and then they went to rescue 4 other Chinese officials and 2 police officers. One of the Chinese personnel that was rescued was injured, and one of the inspectors of the police was also injured, had suffered a gunshot injury. They are being treated right now, and they are trying to do everything possible to apprehend the culprits.
Okay, so I have this story on Trump. So we're all expecting the tax hit. Said he was going to use as a sweep across many states, many countries. So according to the report from the Daily Sun, stakeholders and exporters have expressed deep concerns over the Nigeria's potential loss of $6 billion in annual export revenue following the recent imposition of 14% tariff by United States Donald Trump on Nigerian exports and other countries, not just Nigeria. They warned that the new policy could effectively signal the end of Nigeria's preferential trade benefits under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, a program that was launched back in 2000 to enhance market access for African countries. The federal government acknowledges the new development and affirms its resolve to cushion the impact of fast-track efforts towards economic diversification. Unfortunately, speaking on Sunday, the Minister of Industry and Trade, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, said the government has noted that while crude oil historically continues to be our #1 export, the tariff regime threatens to disrupt non-oil exports, many of which previously enjoyed duty-free access under the AGOA Act. It added that the new 10% tariff on key categories may impact the competitiveness of Nigeria goods in the U.S. And for businesses in the non-oil sector, these measures present destabilizing challenges to price competitiveness and market access, especially in emerging and value-added sectors vital to our diversification agenda. This is really, really sad, but we don't even know. But these are still projections, but $6 billion is a lot of money that we've been losing in export revenue, and that's not funny at all.
At least we have the data, which is good. I want to take the story of what is happening in, what they expect will happen in Osun, because the APC has alerted the IG, the Inspector General of Police, Director of Department of State Services, and the Office of the National Security Advisor about the crisis that they perceive would happen. They say that it is being orchestrated by the governor of Osun State, and that who is from PDP, and they accuse him that he is going to go to court to illegally remove the reinstated local government chairman, and this would lead to anarchy within the state. They said that they've gotten on correct information that he's going to get this purchase order of mandamus from High Court in Ikiru, and the governor is banking on bringing illegally selected men of PDP to be the council chairman. While all of this is happening, my worry is that we've already been hearing about crisis happening within Osun State that has led to loss of lives, and we don't want another one to happen. So on a bipartisan level, whether the case was brought by APC or brought by PDP, the people of Osun State, there should be no loss of lives over the bringing in or removal of local government chairmen. Let the autonomy and the respect for the local government institution be respected by all parties involved.
Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. Anxiety as police organizers differ concerning the cybercrime and emergency rule protest. Umahi to Sanwo-Olu close Eko, Kata bridges, waterways. Ikweazu, Shehu Sani, Omokri, others make ambassadors list. Interesting. No respite for textile industry as domestic market shrinks further. Lesser right, Keyamo says our aircraft recovery now seamless. Tinubu SGF others mourn as Oyo State Governor Olunloyo dies at 89. Police withdraw invitation letter to Emir Sanusi. Mufwang Plateau attacks genocidal. And Trump's tariff over 50 countries ready to renegotiate, says U.S. official. Okay.
Okay, so I have the Minister for Works. Minister for Works is still staying with us here in Lagos while he's working. He's presently asking the governor of Lagos State to close the waterways between the Kata and Eko Bridge. He said he observed the wreckage of dredgers capsized boat during an inspection tour of the ongoing repairs under the deck and substructures of the Third Mainland Bridge, Eko Bridge, and Kata Bridge, and Ido Bridge and the Independence Bridge at the weekend. The minister explained that the capsized dredgers had caused immense damage to one of the piles of the Eko Bridge, and it will require an emergency repair. He said that he was surprised that dredging is still going on, and that even around the Third Mainland Bridge, he said dredger had hit a pier cap and the pier tumbled and they sunk. And he also saw very serious dredging along the Third Mainland Bridge, notwithstanding that the federal government, about 4 months ago, FEC had banned dredging along 10-kilometer radius of all bridges in Nigeria. And he was shocked to see this ongoing in Lagos. He also, in the light of the same conversation, mentioned the suspension of the Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Olukorede Kesha, had been lifted. And he said that she was only suspended because he wasn't informed of the closure of the bridge, but he found out that she had given 2 days notice for the need to close the bridge. And when he observed the bridge, he saw how urgent and how she had acted on time to prevent the loss of lives by closing the bridge. He said the only mistake was that she should have escalated the closure at the time she did it by, copying the PS, copying the minister as well, but that she had done that, and that so things should go back to normal. She's been reinstated. Congratulations.
I'm happy she's reinstated, but the dredging one, I don't think we realize the danger, because when you take the sand from under the bridge, it affects the ability of the bridge, and we see it every time we are going. The dredging work is massive going on close to the bridge of Third Mainland, and because we want to make money, should not jeopardize other.
So if you go under the Mautu Bridge now,
yes, massive dredging,
washing of constantly the coastal area. We can't even turn. We used to be able to turn from Festac under the bridge to Maza. It's impossible to do now. It's completely gone.
We're selling the sand.
The other side.
We now need sand to reshore it up
the
when
dredgers
flooding
are supposed to go get their sand in once, but they get it and they do their business close, and so there's no regulation.
So the Nigerian police force has withdrawn the invitation earlier extended to the 16th Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi, over the unfortunate incident that occurred in Kano State during the Salah celebration on March 30, 2025. The invitation was initially issued to enable the Emir to come and provide his account of events that led to the breakdown of law and order in his state. But the eminent Nigerians, including businessman Atedo Peter's side, human rights activist Professor Chidi, and some other people, well-known groups in Kano, have condemned the invitation of the foremost Emir. So what is happening now is that the operatives of the Force Intelligence Department are mandated by the IGP now to proceed to Kano to obtain his statement. And what had really happened was that prior to the Doba festivals, which an Emir is supposed to lead a procession while riding on a horse, because of the issue happening, between him, Alhaji Bayero, and Alhaji Sanusi. They were told by the IGP not to that should be cancelled, but yet the Alhaji Sanusi went ahead to do that, and it caused an unrest which led to the death of one person. So that's the investigation that is going on. Like, you were told not to do this, and now this has happened. So let's see what comes out.
Has anybody taken the Plateau killings?
I want to. Yes, Mariam Nima took it. I want to take the domestic, the challenges with our manufacturers. So there's been a steady decline. Textile manufacturing in Nigeria used to contribute substantially to the GDP, but it is reducing every year. According to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, they lumped both textile production contribution as well as the footwear, that's the footwear data, and it is not looking good. They said most factories have stopped operation due to lack of enabling environment and inconsistency in government policy. This is the one that worries me, because if it's even maybe power and all of that, but the inconsistency in government policy causing us to lose money should be reviewed, because if we have made commitment and people have put money into, if they've invested into production, and then a policy now makes them lose money, nobody else wants to bring their fund into that same area, and we are losing a lot of money that could come in. They said that our export has increased, though, maybe because of the devaluation of the naira. We seem to be exporting fabric, but local consumption, we're importing more, and we're not contributing much to the GDP as we used to contribute before. But I think it falls under Ministry of Trade and Investment, as well as the Coordinating Minister of Economy, to look into how we can show up the...
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. I choose to close the show.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, And number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
Thanks for staying with us. So in a meeting with the National Youth Service Corps, Director General Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu at the Ministry's office in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Olatunji Alausa, has they actually called for an extension for the NYSC scheme from 1 year to 2 years to allow corps members to gain more substantial skills and experiences. Now, this has sparked quite a bit of views and thoughts over social media. People are expressing their views. Some agree, some disagree. Some have questioned the relevance of the scheme, saying that at this time it's no longer necessary. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think the scheme still holds relevance today? What are your general thinking of this? You can call us on the numbers on your screen: 020-1635-2013-090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to hear from you. We've discussed this matter of NYSC before, and this was because there were issues of saying that there's no longer relevant concerning the fact that if you want to learn about anybody's culture right now, you can learn from the phone. You can learn about the people, the culture, the practices. You can learn about any society by just going online. But the experiences that was preached to establish the scheme might no longer be relevant today. Some disagree, say that the social skills you learn from living in different communities and cultures expands your mind and helps you to become a better, more wholesome citizen. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think, first of all, it's a good idea to extend it, or should we retain it as 1 year as it is?
Okay. I think that it should be extended. I support the Director General of the NYSC. The reason is because he mentioned that it was for substantial skills and experiences. Most job application, when you go there, you're now trying to do a graduate trainee, you come in with no experiences, and you're struggling. Also, for most of the people right now, there are no employment, there are no jobs out there. So one of the things I remember doing as a corper was saving up my youth corps allowance for business. So you might need a grant to start a business, and it's tough to get out there if you don't come for money. And so you want to save up while you're working at it. The NYSC gives you a year to gain the skill, raise the funds at least as much as you can. I know someone who went into a fish pond business, and he was able to raise over $500,000 to start with his fingerlings, the feed, and he got an engine to generate the feed. But when you're in Lagos and all you see is social media, and you see, the glamour of corporate world, you think, that's all there is. I know people who farming is all they know, and they live in Borno. They don't know anything else in Lagos. He graduated, studied biology and something, fisheries, and he went into the business. That's where he's marrying his wife from, his children from. So life is beyond those of us who sit in the corporate world and class. You need funds for certain kinds of businesses. Those kind of training, business skill acquisition, how to hold the business side, you need a platform free to learn it. And those were some of the things NYSC afforded us. For those who took it seriously, who attended those trainings, yes, they gained. But most people, when they go into youth corps, they have an arrangement thing. So make it complete. Even at that, you can actually save up. Now that they're giving 77,000, imagine it for 2 years. If you have a goal already in view, If you are not already planning to share your CV to your aunties who are supposed to help you create magical jobs in the corporate place your eye is on. So you want to join MTN, you want to join TVC, your eye is there. You are saying, no, Auntie Nima is in TVC. She must find a way. Whereas she might not be able to have a way. For those who already have clear dreams of where they are going, the NYSC affords you time to incubate an idea and finish.
But do you think, I mean, let me come to Lily, what do you think? Is it too long?
So I don't think it should be made mandatory, in the sense that most times people, after their NYSC, they need to move on to something else. For those that want to further their education in terms of do their masters, for those that just want to do some other things with their life, right? But then maybe companies or government institutions should be directed like that. If somebody, a youth corporate, wants to stay back for a second year, they should be able to accommodate that person. But the 1 year should be mandatory, but not the second year. The second year should be optional, yes. Because people also have a timeline for things that they want to do and how they want to proceed, you know, with their future and their career and their education. Because when you really look at it, not everybody wants to learn the skill. Some people just have like a professional career that they want to follow through, right? So, yes, I think the first year should be mandatory, but not the second year.
Okay, what do you think?
Oh, for me, I am part of those that feel like the intention, the 2 years, let's not even discuss 2 years. Like, let's not discuss 2 years. Even while we can talk about the achievements, there are many issues with the current system of NYSC scheme. Too many lives lost due to the other issues that did not concern NYSC but is affecting NYSC core members, that we need to overhaul how we are dealing with it. And the truth is, in the press briefing that we went through, he mentioned that they are doing some inner review to ensure that there is improvement to the NYSC scheme itself. Putting children through 2 years, to do what? What's the goal? To increase their work experience, to help them increase, to have more work experience over a 2 year period, when you know the majority of your core members are looking for where to attach themselves to. They are still struggling. We still have them in schools. We still have them being rejected. We haven't really dealt with the real issues. So let's not extend to 2 years. Let's say how we can maximize the 1 year. Let's have data. And I know that the NYSC boss would have data of these are the skills that have been acquired. This is the money raised. There are a lot of things going on within the NYSC right now that is already impacting on people's lives. So let's keep it the way it is. I feel that it has not outlived its relevance, even though sometimes when you hear the stories of people that lost their lives in transportation, maybe on their way there, they were kidnapped or accidents happened, you feel bad that, this NYSC said they should just scrap it. That's emotion talking. Has it helped integrate Nigeria? Yes. Has it given a lot of Nigerians perspective that they would never have gotten from social media? It's impossible for social media to replace it. You can't learn it. You can't be as immersed as you. I know there's a person, Bashiru, he does this program on, he lives in Jos now. He never thought he would live in Jos. He went to serve in Jos, married in Jos, started his business in Jos, his entire family now. That's his life. But that happened because he got a different perspective on what could happen for him there. So NYSC is powerful in that way. But extending to 2 years, not relevant, not what we need right now. What the students need right now is to create a more conducive workflow. Like when they leave school, they are able to actually get jobs, market readiness training that are ongoing, partnering with companies to be able to easily get. I have couples in my office now that were sent from NYSC, and that's the truth. I actually requested for them, and they are very effective. I have 2 people that are came in, and 2 that were already inside that went to serve, and it's amazing. They are getting experience. I don't need them to do 2 years, you know. So I think that's this idea
going by,
might be good, but
so going by where we are as a nation, because sometimes we need to look inwards before we start looking outwards. As a nation, we're trying to rebuild not just the workforce, but even some kind of loyalty and patriotism to the Nigerian brand. We're trying to remodel the minds of Nigerians. And listen, you need to have a stake in this nation called Nigeria. In doing that, we have a scheme called NYSC where people have somehow found a way to just skim through. We're now saying we want to make it a part of your growth such that after your first degree, it is mandatory to do a 2 year where it's not just about being in the classroom. You're going outside to see Nigerians from different parts of the country. They can even do a rotation for you because the objective really is to get you to fall in love and appreciate the nation to the point where you are willing to invest in this country, because other countries have different schemes. They go A levels, they have different things where after university you have to stay 7 years. In the US, there's a 2-year college where you go there you learn some certain skills before you go into university. People have different ways of doing these things. But we are saying that as we are as a nation, we have a lot of people that once they're after that first degree, they're jackpotting. They don't even want to stay. They don't want to hear Nigeria. But this scheme forces you to think twice about leaving, makes you maybe to fall in love with the nation, where you realize that you are part of building this nation. That's where we are as a people. So do you think the bigger picture of where Nigeria is going needs an NYSC of 2 years to help us get children really immersed, as you said, into who we are as a people and get them to build a new vision and picture for Nigeria?
So I think first off, we need to solve our own problems within us, especially within the educational institutions. There's already backlogs of students waiting to attend or be part of this NYSC scheme. Then if you now extend to 2 years, you can imagine the amount of backlogs of kids that are waiting and the gap years that they are going to have.
The backlog?
Yes, there's backlog. No, yeah, that's why they don't have batch B, batch C.
Stream, whatever. They have streams now too.
Yes, so much batches because there's backlog. So if you already have backlogs and you want to do 2 years, where will the other people go to? Then what happens to the timeline and the gap year you're giving these other children that can't proceed, or if they want to jump, they want to first of all wait to make sure that they've done their NYSC before they jump, so that when they come back to Nigeria, they can just effectively and immediately just go into the system. You understand? So you have to put all these things into consideration and deal with your educational institutions before coming up with this plan.
Okay, so there's I can't even lie that there's need for improvement with the NYSC scheme, because we know that the employers now take advantage of the NYSC scheme to get cheap labor. You get one godforsaken school that have died finished, you cannot grow. Condemn a copper because the government has compelled them to come and serve there. Condemn them there. They have no growth plan for them. They are not even allowed to the trainings that they want. So the NYSC really needs to up their game in regulating the primary places of assignment for their UCOR members. But then, I will tell you the advantages of a UCOR arrangement. Besides being placed at a primary place of assignment, within the NYSC, all these NGOs and foundations and all of that take advantage of the data and collection of young people to do that empowerment growth that they bring from time to time in business, in anything, even mental wise. They bring all those kind of training. I remember there were this arts group that were coming at the time. There was a skill acquisition on baking. There were different types. You can find yourself at that point, because Maria mentioned that this can be used to change mindsets about the non-opportunity of Nigeria, because most young people, while they're in school, only see their opportunities outside Nigeria. The dogged ones who stay back and who are growing the economy today, most of them find themselves in NYSC. I would never have thought that the North was the place to stay when I was growing up, because of the news we were hearing. But my cousin was posted to Kano. He was a dentist. He went to Kano. He served in Kano, married from Lagos, moved to Kano, built his house there, his hospital there, worked with the university in Kano, he lectures today. When all his friends were doing Jackpot, he told me, Kano or nothing. And he's still there till date. We've said several years back. And he's still there. So there's some people who, if they don't get the opportunity to test those areas, they would never know the opportunities, just like Tokwe said of the just persons that are there. There was someone who was posted to a farm in Oshun. He would never have thought that the farming, the scale he saw, was possible.
Okay, let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
You are one of our Lotto lucky winners.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
It's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Staying with us, but still discussing NYSC. Please send your views to the numbers on your screen and also let us know your thoughts. We'll be happy to share your thoughts on this matter of NYSC being extended to 2 years. I mean, recently the stipend was increased to 77,000 naira. So lots of NYSC, they're really happy about that. But now that you've given me 77,000 naira, you now want me to stay for 2 years. People are thinking this is a double whammy.
No, I really like Amaka's suggestion of saying make the second year optional, because the truth is there are many skill acquisition programs running within NYSC, and many of them are sort of like free for corpers for the core members to enjoy. But if you make it optional, it means that I am opting in, I am fully vested. But you see, that's 1 year. Many people are not fully vested. It is they say I should come and I've been told to come and I'm going to do what let me save Nigeria. And we don't need 2 years to reorientate people. We don't actually need 2 years to transform. In that 3 weeks that they spend at the camp, the reorientation of what they call reorientation camp, it can actually be rewired through therapists, coaches, and I've spoken because, like I said, I have corpers in my office, and I've asked, what do they do in that 3 weeks? Many of them just feel like, we're suffering. We wake up very early, we will stand, we will crawl under something, mosquito will bite us, we will not have light to charge our phone, where everything is. So what they see is the stress. Whereas it could have been an opportunity to really change their mind on how they see Nigeria. the military men that sort of like the support system they have, they don't see it as these Nigerians, I need to let them love Nigeria. They see it like, I want to show you life is hard. Yes. So let me let you prepare for the hard life you will meet in future. So as that's I'm telling you based on the opinion that the people that experienced it were giving me. So I feel the conversation can be hard to give a. Don't mind me. I don't know everything, but I know NLP, and I know with NLP you can achieve major behavioral change and transformation within a short period of time. And that's what we want. We want anybody that goes through NYSC to live loving this country. Exactly. You can actually, I did a program, my LBS program, in 1 week, every day, as in Dr. Henrietta, every day she kept, the message for that 1 week was to get us to love Nigeria. Do you know that after 1 week, almost everybody in the room did not want to japa? The people that wanted to japa said they changed their mind. Just 1 week of consecutive messaging, helping us to see why we are, how we are the solution to Nigeria's problem, how many other people, they gave us examples of those that solved Nigeria's problem. People came by themselves to come and tell their story. By the end of 1 week, everybody was like, I am the solution. I am going to stay in Nigeria and solve the problem. We can achieve that with NYSC, and it would totally transform our country. So that's what I feel. And it's
so I agree with you on the mindset change. We have to inculcate one training that does that. NLP is a good one, and several others too. But the purpose of the NYSC 3 weeks is different from the entire primary assignment. So there are goals for each setting. When we went to camp was to militarize you. You know, it's a backup for in case we need, reinforcement to our military. And so they will give you that military training in that first 3 weeks, along with other trainings that we did. So if you belong to the media group, you people were in charge of information and all of that. I love kitchen. So I ended up in kitchen group because I cannot go to Kogi.
Let me pause you for a second. Zainab has been holding for a while. Zainab, thanks for calling your live.
Thank you so much. Good morning,
Good morning.
I'm so glad to get on the show today. I've been watching for like 9 years now.
Oh, wow.
So
happy to welcome to the
show. So on this issue, the NYSC issue, I was among those people who just finished passed out like last month. So I totally agree with them and support on this case. We have to optimize what we already have existing. The problem, I think Nigerians, we don't really respect time enough. Rather than clamor for spending longer time, let's optimize what we currently have in ground. Now, the issue Mary mentioned about, trying to make Nigerians love Nigeria, trying to integrate them at all. You don't necessarily need to make it easier for that to be done. It still goes back to optimizing what we currently have in ground. Where I served, because I'm a veterinarian, and then we call us like professionals, we're like professionals. Besides the normal allowance that we get, they pay us the FCC pays us. Now, we are like the professionals, the medics, the vets, we get about 70,000 naira. People who are in less professional persons, they get 10,000 naira. So, in addition to the 33 or now the 77K, they get 10K extra. Now, there's so many disparities with that, and that's sort of the grievances a lot of people have against the National Youth Service. And then another thing I think is sort of optimizing the system we have in government. Usually we have a community development service that happens every week, right? If we are really interested in upskilling, training Nigerians, improving everything for the youth, we should try to incorporate these schemes into what we already have existing this 1 year period, improve the welfare of the youth workers, so we can be more satisfied and feel fulfilled with what we're doing with the NYSC. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And once again, I'm so glad I was able to call in.
Good to have you.
So interesting points from Zainab.
Yes, very interesting. But as I was saying, there are several phases to the training. The paramilitary first 3 weeks, mandatory is to teach resilience, readiness for combat and all of that as much as they can. Then when you go for your primary assignment, you get the opportunity. There's also the need to look inwards for you to want to self-train. These days now we see kids who are not, that 2 years will blast past them. They won't even know it passed.
Exactly. Just wasted it.
They'll waste it because I remember that 1 year finished so fast. Even this one, I had someone who were trying to get posted to a primary assignment. While we are still waiting for that, the 1 year don't complete. It goes so fast. So how quick can you maximize that opportunity as an individual, you yourself? parents who are also working their kids back to the states of residence so that they don't go to any place, how do you then encourage that the child is growing along with what the government policies are? Because as laudable as government policies are, people are against it for safety reasons, for security reasons, for several other reasons, for reasons of, personal reasons of I cannot, my child cannot just suffer. I got hit badly when I got to camp in Kogi, in Kabaden. We not get toilet way good. The first thing was having to do bush, whatever. That hit me so fast. Reality slapped me. But we adjusted within 2 days. We found a way, And so most people would run away from that. One of the best camp then was Ogun State under Gbenga Daniel. And everybody was, after that, I said, find your way to Ogun State to make it not suffer. But we need to build up several other aspects of our lives. And that's what the NYSC is for. It's not a place of enjoyment. It's also a place of, while you're waiting, that waiting period, what can you do for yourself?
Okay, quickly before we move on, just to let our viewers know that those of you in the Otedola Bridge Access, we heard that there was an accident again. Somewhere car fell over that bridge. So those who are stopping to look are causing traffic. So be careful on that axis for those of you going back. Also, I'm told that we have to also link up to the National Police Day, which is today, April 7th. The Nigerian Police Force rounds off week-long activities with Grand Parade. For community relations, you can see some of the pictures here already from Abuja. They're closing the National Police Day with the grand procession happening live from Abuja. So we'll be linking up to them shortly. So those of you watching us on TVC News can continue to watch on TVC Entertainment on GOTV and StarTimes. And also you can catch us online on YouTube. We'll be happy to have you there. Yes, Amaka, you're going to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say, in relation to what she said, that, that the essence, one of the major essence of the NYSC was for people to experience other cultural values and stuff within Nigeria, so we can appreciate it. But then let's also talk about our reality as Nigerians, and that majority of the people also work their way to where they want to actually serve. So the NYSC has a lot of job to do in terms of reorienting themselves and their staff, because if the essence of the NYSC is for people to, if Igbos to go to the north, the Westerners to go to the east, and that we've lost that, where people can now decide one way or the other where they want to serve. So at the end of the day, what's the point? Because if the major reasons after the war is because of this, so if we don't have that where people can decide where they want to serve, why are we doing this in the first place? Because it loses the core value.
They can say they want to serve in Lagos. Everybody will say they want to serve in Lagos now.
To be crowded in Lagos.
So no, that's what I'm just saying. You should not want to serve it. If you went to school in Lagos, or your parents live in Lagos, because there's the data, right? Where if your parents live in Lagos, or maybe you went to school in Enugu, then you have to go to the north, because there's data that you've not experienced this other side of Nigeria. But if people decide, and we know that's the reality, where people now work their way to now still stay back in Lagos, then what's the point if everybody now stays back where they want to stay back?
But that's not supposed to be the real. That's not supposed to be the
so
real.
NYSC itself needs to reorient itself, fix itself. You have to fix yourself from the core,
so that we can get the objective.
If not,
of
then
it.
there's no point. Then how much more do you need to?
So it's really going back to the drawing board, so that the NYSC is beneficial to meet the objectives. Okay, I think we can wrap up on this, but really in a nutshell, I think just like Tokpa had said, the idea of making the second year, what Amaka had said, that making the second year optional might be something worth considering for the National Youth Corps scheme. But I think on the nutshell, though, Nigerians do generally agree that the scheme is still necessary, but it must be revamped and remodeled to meet our national objective. That's really the objective, the point that Nigerians are trying to make. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll move on to our next hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jammies.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, you for that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, at number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musiki.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym, though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you see on what's his name?
That woman.
Damn!
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
And so we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment for Pure Entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
This is the Max Urban Gospel.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
Thanks for staying with us. The Lagos State Police Command has launched an investigation into the viral video that circulated on social media showing security personnel at Omole Estate allegedly preventing ununiformed police officers to gain entry into the estate. In the video, the 5 officers were seen flogging the private security guard with a horsewhip after he denied them entrance into the estate for not having the necessary clearance. Joining us on the show are 2 people. We have Barrister Kehinde Daniel. She's a legal advisor of Omole Phase 1 Residents Association. Also joining us on the show is a spokesperson for the Lagos Police Command, Benjamin Hudain, who also will be joining us here. Not CSV, I have to call him CSV, yes, Benjamin Hudain. That's the right ranking for you. And also they'll be sharing us with us exactly what happened. So we're going to start with you, Barrister Daniel. We got reports of what happened. And I'd like you just to tell Nigerians exactly what happened at the gate at your estate.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So, as seen in the video, Omole Phase 1 is an estate that has controlled access for you to gain entry into Omole. There are 5 gates in Omole. 2 of our gates have automated access, for residents only. And on the 3rd of April, at about 4:15 or so in the evening, from the CCTV footage, we saw that, armed policemen tried to gain access into the estate with a vehicle, a private vehicle. It wasn't a government, it didn't have government plate number. And so the security guard directed them to use the main gates because, he didn't have the override with him. They usually have a supervisor that has the override, that we use in emergency cases or when we have government officials, come through those gates. But if you watch that video closely, what happened, or the assault on that guy happened within 30-40 seconds. So it was premeditated. So the guy told them, whilst he was still telling them, you could see that they tried to make him search his pockets, to see if he had the override with them. So those are not people that did not know about the estates. They wanted something from him, they didn't get it, and that was why they assaulted him, which is very wrong, and this is what we condemn normally.
Okay.
The video was it didn't look good, Sha.
It didn't look good at all.
It didn't look good at all, and I was waiting to hear. I'd love to hear what CSP Uday is going to say concerning this, because what's the information from the police perspective?
Let me even say something. Sorry to interject, because it went beyond that. So if you see from the CCTV video, they now walked the guy into the estate. The moment they entered the estate, they fired a gunshot. What was that for? It wasn't necessary at all. Why would we have armed police? If you recall the recent issue about the IKEDC and the one that happened in Badagry, we are now having situations where armed policemen or armed officers, not policemen now, because there were actually, there was one policeman and NSCDC officers that were in this vehicle. We don't want to be assaulted. We don't want to, have gun threats, or we don't want to live in fear in our private estates. We want our policemen to do their job to protect our property and ourselves.
So I read the response from the Lagos State Police Command.
I also read it.
I saw that from your end is you say that these were not people from your state, number one, and secondly, you expected that when something like this happened, the estate should come forward to the Nigerian police to report, not go on social media. Tell us exactly your own perspective on this.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy that you made reference to the statements we issued. So a statement was issued making our stand clear on this. The Lagos State Police Command will not condone any form of antibody. So we clearly condemn that. And like we said, investigation has commenced into this incident so that all officers found culpable will be dealt with accordingly. But we also expected that the estates would have reached out to the DPO covering that area. We expect them to have a very good relationship such that they can quickly call the DPO and the DPO could send people down there so that right there on the spot we can identify these officers, which would make our investigation faster. But as we speak, we can confirm one thing, that those officers are not from Lagos State Police Command. That notwithstanding, we'll still go on with our investigation, get them, identify them, and it's not too late. If or when the estate management and their CSO come forward to let us know or give us a fuller footage, what we have is not long enough to tell the identity of these people. But if we have a fuller footage or they have extra information that can give us, then identify these people faster and make sure they are brought to book. That being said, we also want to make it clear, just like we did in our statement, that we understand that the reason why you restrict access to your estate is for security reasons. You don't want people that will become security threats or security risk to gain access to your estate. But for you to now stop police officers, you are insinuating that these officers could be security threats or risk, and that is not allowed by law. So if you are having these restrictions, police officers must and are already exempted. We have that mandate to protect life and property. We have that mandate to maintain law and order. So what I'm saying in effect is, once police officers appear at these entrances, they are in uniform, they are armed, they don't need any further identification, you give them access. We see this play out in other estates, not just Omole. So that's it, exactly.
Can I respond to that, sorry?
Can I just say something? I wanted to ask him just a minute, question following that, because you just mentioned that initially you said this is not a police officer attached to the police command in Lagos. So how do you really know who is a police officer?
Exactly.
And where I'm from, in Lagos, police officers don't use official cars. They use Korokwe bus. Yes, they just stop a commercial bus driver, get on his bus for a raid. We've also had to pay such in the past. So how do you identify who is a police officer? And you are also you just admitted that some estates have to do this on their own, because we don't have enough manpower to deploy police officers to every estate. And so if people are providing their security, are they not then entitled to some form of calm identification, because what we saw here was that you can see from the video that the moment the young man was just, maybe gesticulating or directing something, he kept showing a way of hand to the officers, and they on their own jumped out of an unidentifiable hilux to come and accost him. So exactly. How as police officers supposed to comport themselves? How many seconds are they supposed to give the security officers manning the gates, for some form of direction?
Thank you very much. Security is actually everyone's business, so it's a welcome idea if estates have security operatives working with them. But these operatives need to know that they are only complementing the police. So they should give police that access when they want to. How do you identify police officers? When I was talking earlier, I said these officers were in uniform. And in fact, they were also armed. I don't know why identification should be based on vehicle. The vehicle apart, I'm in uniform, you can tell today that I'm a police officer. And beyond that, we've had cases where the estate security personnel will quickly reach out to their CSO, who would appeal to the police officers to just give them a few seconds, and they'll quickly call the DPO. We have some officers here. Do you know about them? And the DPO will say, oh yes, they informed us before arriving. So it's supposed to be seamless if you have a cordial relationship with your DPO.
So there's a process. Now let me let you come in, because they are saying that there should be, especially an estate like Emoli, you have a relation with the DPO.
We do have a very good relationship, even with the past DPO in Emoli. So let me just respond to what the initial question that you answered in relation to the public statement from the police. You see, we were not surprised when we saw that statement. And coming from a public relations officer, we even anticipated that would happen. And that was not the case. It was not any case of obstruction. We have a very good relationship with our DPO in Omoli. But those guys, or the officers, they are people that are attached to someone. Yes, they might not be from Lagos Police Command, but there are things that we also expect from the police. Where you have people that are attached to maybe one
VIP.
Thank you. For the want of a better word, VIP. And the person feels, oh, why would you restrict me? The VIP was not there. But it was something that happened, about 2 years ago, which we tried to manage, the estate tried to manage. This said VIP was given 13 free access to, so that you tag their cars so that whenever they come or approach the gate, they have access into the estate. 13 of their cars are tagged. The person personally has override for him to enter the estate. So it is just a situation of, we know what our Oga's position is on this gate matter. He has threatened to pull down the gates before. So this thing was premeditated. We're like, you people are still on this matter. Everything happened within 30 seconds. If
that is the case.
So wait, let me now finish. So when we saw the statement from the police, we said, okay, normal, police tried to, they must paint a scenario, something must happen. It was not any case of obstruction. Our guards are being trained. They know that when fire services, ambulance, government officials or government branded cars come, there's a supervisor on duty to grant that override. Those people are known. The security guard that was beaten, if you look at his medical report, he said, I identify those men. I know them very well. So everything is not about the police. We want the police to do the investigation. That is what we actually want, because we want these people to be brought to book. We cannot live in our estates and live in fear. Yes. And if somebody makes threats and then you now find his subordinates shooting, for what? It was so unwarranted, it was unnecessary. So I've told him, we are going to support you. We'll give you all the information that you need to do this investigation. Usually what we have is, when you report cases, like we have robbery or we have scavengers or even kidnapping, you report every day. How many cases do you want to take to the police station? So we know that we burden that woman with all our issues in our money. But this one is beyond, what we want to sweep under the carpet. We want to follow this matter till the end.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear that it's not like these people are not ghosts.
They're not ghosts.
Yeah, they're not ghosts. You know them, you know the source, and that they can be traced and they can be identified. So that's perfect. But so I want to come back to him. Yes, that I believe that maybe entering an estate or any property or whatever that is gathered like that, that even the police, even when they stop you on the road, there should be another form of identity, because I've been a victim of that, where I was stopped on the road. We're traveling by police office, people wearing police uniforms, and we thought they were police officers, and we stopped, and they were armed robbers. So you cannot say because I see someone wearing a uniform or holding a gun that is a police officer, and I should give them access to me. And they were just like any other place in the world. You should be able to show your ID card or identify yourself. That, and I know for a fact
don't go too far. When policemen have activities in any area, the first place, I'm not a police officer, but I know that they would report to their local police station. The DPO would know.
Exactly.
The DPO had access. She would have just called her chairman, something, they don't even need to disclose. We are coming. By the time she gets to that gate, they know her. They
So
open the gate for
Dr. Barrister Daniel, sounds like an estate issue with this particular person that lives in your estate.
Individual.
Is one individual, is an ongoing issue. Now, if this is an ongoing issue with this person, has your estate reported officially to the Lagos State Police concerning this particular resident?
Okay, so we wrote to the IGP. We copied our senator. We copied...
You passed on the Lagos State Commissioner of Police.
You know that we said the person is a VIP. So if you really want something to be done, you take it from the top. You don't start from the bottom. So yes.
Is that the right approach? Because we went straight, because this is a high level
Our fight
person.
is not with the police.
Yes.
But we need them to do their work.
Yes.
And, you know, we trust that they will do their work. But we don't even want this thing to be intercepted or a situation where we will not just rob it, because we're not getting to arms. We are very, very, serious about this.
Oh, thank you very much. It's surprising to me that all along the estate management knew the particular person. Because if we had got this information since the day this incident happened, then it would have been very easy. In fact, we would have identified the officers attached to him by now. It's a thing, we just go to him and see the officers, and maybe we would have concluded investigation. So now that we know that they know the particular VIP, we'll be expecting the identity of the VIP, and we'll be able to quickly round up.
Please let me ask. I'll let you ask a question. Let me go on a very short break. I'll come back to you and let you start. Stay with us. We'll be right back. That's all we can take. Close the show,
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym, though. You're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does show dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they're for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person that used to sus? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this on Malaysia. Toko, yes.
So, we've had this. This is not something new. We know that there are people who, by virtue of connection in Nigeria, being powerful and being influential, people feel they are above the law. And to a large extent, when they act that way, there's no way you can fight them. So we have you here now, and I'm wondering if you find yourself in a situation where someone that believes he's above the law has infringed on your human right, how can you get justice from the Nigerian police?
Well, just the same way they have started, though I want to fault the routes they are following. You need to let the police know.
Would they have gotten justice if they did not put it on social media and it got that outcry?
Well,
let's talk like you know,
yes,
like
yes,
Nigeria.
yes. I want to be factual here. If they had informed the DPO or they had written to the DPO and nothing happened, they would have complained about it. But there is no such complaint. That's because DPO is not even aware. The first thing we did was to contact the DPO, like, are you aware of this? I said, no, nobody brought it to our attention. We saw it on social media. So definitely, if they had brought it to our attention or to our notice, we would have done something about it. But starting from the IGP, yes, it will still get to us, but it will take a longer time. From the IGP, maybe to the AIG, then the AIG to the CP, then before we now commence investigation. But we are not going to wait for that. Now that we have commenced investigation into it, we will not wait for that. We'll just continue with our investigation.
What's the process? Because there are other estates watching, there are other people watching. Things happen. This is not the first time we're hearing a VIP trying to come through a specific date without proper identification. In that kind of situation, what is the process and how do we ensure justice? Because the reason why anybody will go to an IGP is because they know that this is Nigeria. You might not get justice. You might even be delayed. But this is just a VIP person that if I don't go straight to the presidency itself, this guy will not be brought to book. So what's the right process for any Nigerian watching you right now?
Well, I don't know about VIPs. I'm talking about police officers being prevented from gaining access to estates. I've been to other estates. I was in a bigger estate a few weeks back, and nobody stopped me. I was in uniform, I was in my vehicle, and I was granted access. So for other estates watching, let it be known that your restrictions are not binding on the police. Police are exempted. No,
this thing is not easy to enforce because there are VIPs who have security officials, and it's not too expensive to get a security detail that will have uniform.
I need to make it clear that anyone that obstructs police officers in the discharge of their duty will be made to face the full wrath of the law. And if need be, like we're empowered by the law, we'll make use of minimal force to ensure that we achieve our mandate of protecting life and property.
Without warrants. Minimal force would have been to force the gate open.
Minimal force is the force that is commensurate to the force we are getting.
Look at the scenario. It was about gaining access into the estate. Worst case, they would have broken the barrier and gained access.
Not beat the person.
Not fire a gunshot.
I started my statement here on this program with by addressing the assault issue. We would not condone assault, and we still want to get those officers so that they'll be brought to book. So assault is a no-no.
But CSP, going to what Amaka said earlier, there are so many times where people will go and buy police uniform. Exactly. They are armed robbers. They enter. So because they have uniform on, I'll give them access to go and rob people in my estate. So how do I? There has to be something more than uniform to identify you. There's got to be something else.
Well, if I'm in uniform and my name tag is there, and more likely, like this particular case, they are armed, the best thing you can do, like I've explained in some other scenarios with some other estates, is to beg for a couple of seconds, call the DPO to identify these people.
Okay. So that's the protection I have as an estate. And before I allow any police enter, I'm allowed a few seconds to call the DPO. But these guys were not giving seconds. They came down within seconds and beating them up.
wait, you must not obstruct police officers in the discharge of their duties. I'm going to tell you something that happened.
How do we confirm discharge of duties?
Hello. I'll tell you something that happened at Omole Estate. This same Omole Estate. Okay, so police officers were in their patrol vehicle and they were responding to a distress call. And because there was traffic outside, the normal route outside the estate where they would pass, they thought it wise to go through the estate, just pass through and come out at the other gates. And they were denied access. They were denied access because, oh, you don't have any business within the estate, you just want to pass through. But we are talking about a distress call here. So that was exactly preventing police officer from getting
I have a question for you. Based on what he has said, I have been to Omole Estate, and I don't know, you know the way the map will take you, that there's an exit somewhere. And it was shorter to the appointment I was trying to keep, and I got there and I found it was a restricted entrance or exit.
Okay, so
my question is, as an estate, what's the exception when it comes to the emergency? Everything that has an exception is an ambulance, a police officer, a fire truck. You know, whether or not the ambulance have person inside, because you know we always do that business of I don't mind them, it's just the driver of the hospital. Once it's an ambulance, whether you cannot verify what they're responding to if they need to get access. So what's the policy of your estate?
I explained earlier on. So government officials, in fact, if you're in uniform alone, they will grant you access. These guys that we're talking about are known to the guards. So it's a different scenario. If you come into our estate, they don't even know that this is CSP Benjamin. Once they've seen you in your uniform, police, they'll grant you access.
So they know these guys in particular.
And he didn't have the override button.
And he didn't. That boy did not have the override button. He's not the supervisor.
It's not a police problem. It's an assault issue.
It's an assault issue.
So even if you come to Omole, the person you're coming to see, the resident that you're coming to see would have told you this is the gates that you use. So we're not saying some other estates by 10 p.m. they shut their gates. Our main gate is open 24 hours. So we're not saying that people should not come into the estate. There are 5 gates. It's only 2 of these gates that we have this automated access. So we are not saying people should not come into the estate. People have unrestricted access.
So let me put it what I understand from this clearly. So there's a VIP in Omole Estate.
He doesn't even reside in Omole. He just patronizes Omole.
Okay, so but he's been given override of about how many?
13
overrides. 13 of his vehicles.
And personally, he has 2 overrides that he can use, assuming he's not in his own car, he's coming in another car that he can use.
So those overrides is what the supervisor would have used. So override will be a complementing.
No, it's just something that you flash at the thing and then it opens the barrier.
And so they didn't have. So this
you know one thing. I'm sorry to interject you. This VIP was not at the scene. So
his boys.
I
get it.
And what do you expect of a responsible person? Something happened. Something wrong happened. Let me approach.
The chairman.
People. I did not give them the authority to do this. They acted on their own volition. Please, let's try to
pay the bills.
We won't be here today. So and we will not feel. Threatened. And then you know what? At the scene, one of the officers said, if this thing happens again, somebody will die.
Okay, so now this is giving I'm make clearer now. So this was not an access police issue. This is an assault issue. That the state,
abuse of office.
That the police, that the estate should have officially informed the police, because they now are the one that can have access to this VIP and question him.
That's why we wrote to the IGP.
Okay, so he's now saying that writing to the IGP will take longer because it goes from IGP to AIG to CP, then it comes to
in that letter. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy here, but that letter, the CP was copied. The DPO. This thing happened on Thursday. Friday, we had to write. When we even heard about it, our chairperson directed the security company to go to the police station.
Right.
When we called the guy the following day, after we saw the statement from the police, he told us, "I'm trying to sort out the guy that was badly assaulted. You people are telling me that the first thing I should do is to go to police station. What if this guy dies?" We have to be sensitive to all these things. And we just said, okay, sort out your guy, give us a replacement, and then we'll. So he now told us that by the time he went back to the police station, of course, everything had gone south. He wasn't maybe well received. And we said, no problem. We have already sent it to the IGP, and gradually, I'm sure it will trickle down to, maybe the CP and the DPO.
Me, I have I'm going back to this question of once you see police uniform, open your door, sir. You see, on a normal day, in the climb, let me not put a climb there. In the climb that we would say things are working, we've not heard of fake police uniform being used to carry out crime. We wouldn't complain about this. But in the Nigeria of today, where we see uniform with fear, and I'm saying with my full chest, we see uniform with fear. I see uniform and I'm first scared. The average Nigerian is not assured with the uniform of the police. They are scared when they see the uniform of maybe the person in a good mood. Maybe they can be accidental discharge. I will now open my door without warrant, with the expectation that I'm trusting this uniform has the interest and service of the government is what is bringing them to our estates. We need to be realistic, sir. How do we find a balance? Not where we want to be, but where we are today as a country. Because I don't want you to live here and we have not really helped people to understand how to deal with this situation, because it will always come up.
Okay. So sorry, before you say, let me just add to what we are trying, the main thing we're asking here is, what's the primary identification aside from uniform? We want to know.
Uniform is everything.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll answer your question, but I really want to quickly talk about what your the security company in the estate said, that you expect me to go to the police when I'm still battling with this guy's life. Well, you don't have to go in person. You can send someone in case such happens again. You need to get the police involved from day one, so that.
Well, generally, this one is.
Yeah, I'm talking generally now. Get police involved from the start, so that they can even visit and see the extent of the assault, or maybe take pictures, so that you won't be coming up with somebody whose bruises have disappeared and you'll be saying, no, it was actually bruised. So that's aside. Now, coming back to what you're saying. Now, nobody's asking you to open your door. These police officers did not go to somebody's gate, to somebody's house. That would be a totally different issue. You would actually need a warrant to gain access and search somebody's house. We're talking about the entrance into the estate. That is nobody's house. That's a government road. If this could be your estate, that's fine, but that's a government road, and that's where police wants to pass. So we're not asking you to open your door. Then identification, yes, it's not a new thing that everybody is being impersonated. Yeah, soldiers, police, even senators. We have fake senators. Yes, yes.
Fake presidential plate number.
Yes, we have everything is being impersonated. It's not a Nigerian thing. It's everywhere. Some people to claim to be journalists just to gain access to events. So we have that. But that being said, for me or for us to identify us, our uniform, our name tag, if I have my name clearly written on my uniform, I'm not wearing a hood, I'm not covering my face, you can see me. You have your cameras everywhere. In fact, I know that if you zoom into your footages, you would see the faces of these officers. If you require additional identification, then maybe they can show you their tag, their ID card. If you don't, if that is not enough for you, like I've said twice already, yes, you can quickly reach out to the DPO. But in all of this, you do not obstruct officers, especially when they are responding to a distress call.
Unfortunately,
distress call.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Yeah, that's all we can take. I choose to close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Accuses.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does show dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's
what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see us. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Thanks for staying with us. So you're going to say something for the break.
Yes, so I was going to say something. So he mentioned about, from the CCTV footage, we were able to identify one of the officers. His name is Aruwajoy, Inspector Aruwajoy. That is his name. I'm a bit worried, I'm a bit concerned. How long should it take for our police to be able to identify who an officer is attached to? It's been 72 hours now. And, you know, okay, let me just say, we'll let them do their investigation. You know.
I would like to know the name of the VIP in your estate. You give us the name of the person.
Let the police do their investigation.
Let us name, we have to name, I say, we have to name and shame these people because as citizens, we are also very interested in calling out leaders who are also on the wrong side of the law.
Okay, but you know that, for me, the VIP was not... Maybe he may have emboldened them. He wasn't there, so I can't say that he authorized it.
Gotcha.
Maybe his reaction is what I might fault. But let the police do their investigation and then...
So we're just getting to hear the name of one of the officers now. And,
no, it's in the letter that we wrote to the IGP.
Yes, it was in the letter because they were able to...
And we'll be expecting a full footage,
it also worries me that you're waiting for the minutes. Yes. This happened in your command and they've written to the IG now. You say it will be minuted to AIG before it will trickle down.
No, our statement says we have commenced the investigation.
Yes,
our statement says
that's bureaucracy, and we cannot help bureaucracy. But you see, the thing is, in Nigeria, when you are powerful, you can hold justice. And there's some level of power.
I'm a lawyer. Let me tell you, don't
I should not say that.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
It does not happen.
No, it does not happen.
Why are you always so very cynical about your country talking about
it's not like that.
You know,
see, God give me power. You see, in this country, you've heard things. Somebody will say that I will kill you and there's nothing you can do about it. And they will beat people and nothing is done about it. So, because we've seen things like that.
But once it gets to court, something will be done because there's a docket and that thing has a life cycle. So, it is for you to get to court. Let me now say that once it gets to court,
the lawyer to lawyer. if the matter was
Over to you,
limited
Nima.
to the DPO in question.
No, that is why I said when it gets to court. So
No,
it is now beyond
because
police.
your lawyer is the kind of lawyer that go to IG. If the matter was, within, like my estate, for instance, we'll be waiting for DPO to tell us where to go. If you wrote to just the DPO, or you made a call and the matter wasn't officially documented, no petition, how do you think it will go? Would VIP not be able to get there and say, if our boy is here, more money? Will it go beyond the police station in question?
Yes, that's a question for you.
Well, I think we've talked about this earlier.
No, I'm not asking you.
Okay. No, the reason why I wanted him to answer because it's the process. Because the objective of this kind of show is to educate Nigerians. We don't want this to happen again. I live in an estate. There are other estates across the country. So you're saying that if I write to DPO, the process might be stalled. That what you're saying. And I have a CSP here who tell me if my estate has that kind of
I'll say this.
and I write to DPO.
I'll say this. We have so many estate CSOs walking into the command headquarters every day to speed up.
CSOs in estates.
Yes. Every estate has a CSO. Yes. So if the CSO of Omole Estate had come to the headquarters that day with a flash drive that this the footage, the full footage, and giving us the name that I'm just getting to hear now, and lodging these complaints, by now we'll be done with the investigation. So people need to trust the system. In fact, do what you have to do. Report to us. Then if nothing happens, call us out. But in this case, it hasn't been done. Well, they have done it from the top.
Kuku respond to this. Our viewers
today is National Police Day, true.
You know what? We just have some bad eggs. Let us appreciate the police for what they do. Because really and truly, we call our DPO. We can say that we even abuse the relationship because we can call at any time. There is robbery, there is vandalism, or somebody is misbehaving. We call her and she responds. So we have some good people within the Nigerian police. The intention is not to, discredit or malign the Nigerian police. What we are saying is the bad eggs. Imagine if this guy, when they fire the gunshots, if somebody died, do you know what people will say? They'll say, Ashwaju.
Oh, they said,
and let me tell you, Honorable James Faleke, who is the MHR representing Ikeja, the same thing happened to him. He's an elderly man. He turned back and used the main gate. But this person,
who is this person? If you can mention Faleke's name, mention this person.
Well,
you
said the good things that we've seen and that we've experienced and that we've enjoyed.
I'd like CSP to respond to this. Our viewer says it's easier said than done. Her name is Ajumobi. Many police officers are not friendly and some of them are unapproachable. The bad heads among them should be removed, no cover up. How approachable are the police officers when they're on this duty? How should they comport themselves with all force?
Nima, let me ask you that question. You see somebody with arms. What are you approaching?
No, some of them will still engage. I engage the police officers a lot. If you stop my car, we'll sit down.
You have guns. It's not everybody that has guns.
No, even with your gun. The language that you have guns.
You have the courage.
But I think there's a message here from Engineer Tijani, who I think will be a good idea. It says this is a case of privileged people oppressing less privileged ones in our society. And we need to stamp that out. The young security officer was carrying out his legal duty and he was assaulted by ignorant people in privileged position, that's the officers. The security officer was not aggressive to these men as seen in the CCTV footage. It was just a case of man's cruelty to another man. So that question then goes to you, CS, because there are lots of security officers who are actually just doing their jobs. Yes, they're not police officers. Yes, they're only complementing the work of the police. But why is it that actual police officers seem to always assault or disrespect or disregard the authority that has been bestowed on these smaller security officers and estates?
We have thousands of estates in Lagos State, and we don't get this every day. That's because many CSOs do the proper orientation for their staff to let them know. See, if you are doing your job, allow emergency workers, police, ambulance, fire service to gain access. So in this should be like an exception. Police officers, yes, comport yourselves when going in, but private security operatives too need to comport themselves and recognize that the police have the mandate to protect life and property, maintain law and order, and need to pass through their estates to get this done.
We're supposed to get Engineer Lasukomi Ojuwor to, that's the, he's supposed to come and share with us the Ministry of Transportation, Engineer Lasukomi, but unfortunately we're having technical issues. I'm not sure if it's on. Hello there. Hello there, are you there? Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Sorry, I mean, we were trying to bring you on earlier. Just in 1 minute, tell us the position of the Ministry of Transportation when it comes to gated estates, because there are a lot of gated estates in the state, and the access to security personnel.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. We have seen that in recent times there's been provision of gates, gating communities, CDAs, estates all over, and it has been constraining the mandate of the minister.
Live TV, life happens.
Go
on.
It's frozen.
It's frozen. Yeah.
It's live television. We're out of time.
Yeah.
That was not supposed to be on TV. All right, but unfortunately we have to wrap up. But thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you, Barrister Kehinde Daniel, for joining us, and CSP Benjamin Doyin. Thank you very much for coming and to share your thoughts on this. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.